The Invisible Artifacts. The DNA Sentinel, by Chief Dr. Naja Njoku Levo. A traditional healer known as a dibia in Igboland was awakened from a very disturbing dream. The Alusi were giving him urgent messages. He went to the King Eze and informed him that a calamity was afoot. A giant tomb will come floating on the water. It will bring death and despair, he said. The Eze immediately told him to make haste and do what the Alusi told him to do. He went to the shrine after gathering wood from the sacred Iroko tree. He blessed his carving tools. The dibia personally carved a mysterious artifact, creating a secret compartment at the bottom. He placed inside a kola nut, enzu, alligator pepper, and a message. Meanwhile, the Eze summons the town crier to make the announcement. Every elder male and female of each family must meet him at his palace immediately. The crier moved swiftly and sang the announcement with great poetic rhythm. As he hurried on his way, the village heard the clanking sound of metal against his ogeni gong. They each arrived, wondering why they were assembled at such a late hour. They spoke among themselves until the healer arrived. The dibia carried one artifact in his hand as he walked with his staff of office. He explained that the Alusi told him of an impending danger. He said that a tomb will float on the great water, bringing a choking white fog. The fog moves quickly like smoke. The fog would engulf many of the villagers, but some will survive. He advised that when this horrible white smoke came, to run to the secret place near the evil forest, where they would be invisible to the naked eye. He opened a blind spot there, so no one could see anyone that entered. It was actually an ancient portal. A great fear came over the villagers, because no one went near the evil forest unless they were cast out of the village. It was an abomination. They only heard of legends about these ancient portals until now. The elders all began to speak at the same time. The clanking sound of the dibia's staff striking the ground rang out loudly in the night air. His assistant did this so everyone would be quiet. It caused a silence to roll across the tongues of each person there. The healer's eyes turned a hazy white as he went into a trance. He said, "Out of this abomination, our people will return victorious." The artifact started glowing as the healer placed a sacred seal around it. The statue became smaller. He directed each elder to come to the artifact. He recited an incantation and told each elder to touch a designated area of the statue. When they touched it, that area displayed a mystical glowing symbol that was not carved into the artifact. It was emblazoned and unique to that person. It appeared to be an ancient form of Nsibidi, the writing of the first ones. When the symbol illuminated, it sealed the elder's DNA into it. The dibia explained that the mystical symbols would only glow when a descendant of these first elders were near the artifact. When the last elder touched the artifact, another seal was placed all around the artifact. The Eze told the elders to return to their homes and speak nothing of this. The dibia recited another incantation. Smoke rose up from around the artifact. Lightning struck from the artifact to the sky. When the smoke cleared, an exact duplicate of the artifact was sitting on the shrine table. He kept the second artifact with him and his wife. She was also a dibia healer. The artifact could only be passed from dibia to successor until the time of reckoning. The king called for the most spiritually strong man in the village. His name was Obinna, or Obi. He was noticeable because of the bright spiritual glow about him that only the dibias could see. The guards were given instructions to take Obinna before the shrine, place him on the seat of concentration, and leave him there for his trial. They did. The dibia walked slowly towards him and placed green protection herbs around the seat. He knew that Obinna could be transported into the ancestral realm and not return. He had to remain anchored in this world. The healer told him to focus on something positive. He warned Obinna that the pain he would encounter would be nothing he ever felt before. Obinna braced himself, knowing that this is what was foretold for his life. The dibia picked up the first artifact and pushed it to Obinna's chest. All of the Nsibidi symbols on the artifact lit up. This is because Obinna was related to every elder that touched the artifact. He was their legacy and binding force. The villagers heard a sizzling sound. The artifact started burning his skin as he moaned in uncontrollable pain. The Dibia told him to hold onto the seat of concentration and look past this world. "Don't give up," Obinna obeyed. As the artifact was pushed even deeper into Obinna's chest, his eyes turned a dark red. He briefly saw a vision of the future. He almost kicked the herbs away. The women began to ululate in the near darkness as a tear fell from Obinna's eye. "What manner of pain is this?" he thought. Obi heard himself roar like a leopard. Then his eyes turned all black. He heard chains clanking and saw strangely dressed men speaking. They were almost like ghosts in clothing. Something about their chi, their spirit, was more horrid than the tales of the evil forest. Obinna was taught that a person's chi, their spirit within, must honor them. Their chi was different. He sensed it. One of the strange men walked towards him. The man uttered peculiar words to him and grimaced. Obinna didn't understand his words, but he sensed pure evil pulsating from within him. Obinna's eyes changed to red and then a deeper black. It was as if he summons the energy and blackness of all of his ancestors. It was an amazing sight to experience. He braced himself, prepared to fight the evil man. Obi roared like a leopard once again. This time it was more thunderous, as the sharpest teeth began to protrude from his mouth. The man ran in fear. His chi was not prepared for that of Obi's. Obi saw the man's chi leave his body and run ahead of him. Obi laughed. He said, "What kind of foolishness is this? This small boy wants to test the might of my ancestors." Suddenly, Obinna's skin divided, and the artifact was fully engulfed into his chest. His skin covered it, and gradually took on his normal muscular form. The sound of the drums were beating as his pain disappeared. It was as if nothing happened. He noticed that his skin now had dark spots that slowly dissolved back into his natural color. Obi was very thirsty and asked for water. As they brought him a drink, he said, "Water has no enemy." On that day, Obinna became the DNA Sentinel. He thought about the meaning of his name. Obinna means heart of the father. Based on the context, it also means father's throne. It was his responsibility to do what was never done before for the sake of his people. The healer introduced Obinna to some men that were also initiated. They all became members of the same age set as Agu apprentices. They were all sworn to secrecy, to never reveal what took place. They could never repeat what they saw at the shrine. The healer reminded them that Agu means leopard. Obinna and his age set continued to train and eat healthy foods. They learned the spiritual ways of the Dibius. His strength and mental toughness was tested often. He had to be prepared for what was to come. On our next episode, the invaders arrive. Will Obinna and his village escape the ghostly white smoke and the floating tomb? Will they all make it to the sacred portal in time? Tune in next time to find out. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share.